Hey guys, this is a quick one. I don't even know if I want to call this a lesson, but I just had a thought. It was quite funny to me, and if anybody, if any of you have noticed this strange phenomenon, comment below. But I have this weird gift, and sometimes I call it a curse. I just made a comment on somebody's video because they reminded me of this. People don't want to believe me. They just don't. And it's funny because I'm not a perfect person by any means. I'm not perfect, but I generally like to see people succeed. You know? I like it when my friends do well. I like it when people I don't know do well and get what they want and move forward. I'm not the kind of person that gets some kind of satisfaction or pleasure out of seeing others, fail or hurt. And I don't like people who do feel that. And if I do get a sense that someone is like that, I try to avoid people like that. I very much do not like people who are like that, and and it's funny. So I've got this gifted curse where, I'll tell people the best advice that I know, that I can, because I want them to succeed. I generally do. That's one thing. Like, I worked in sales, and when you work in sales, you got to have a mindset like that, because when your customer gets what they want, when your client succeeds, you succeed. And I don't mean that in a greedy way, but it's like, it's kind of like a win-win. Anyway, so I'll tell somebody the best advice that I can. And here's a crazy hypothetical. Let's say I'm CIA, and I tell somebody, hey man, you really should stop what you're doing. There's some people who are investigating you. You should really stop and turn around, because if you don't, it's going to go down and you're going to get in trouble. And I like you enough to tell you this in advance so that you can get out of the way of the train when it comes barreling through. And so I have this curse where people just, instead of listening to my advice, which benefits them, because I don't get anything, and I don't benefit. I really don't, except for just generally liking to see others do well, especially people that I care for. I don't get anything out of it. They'll do the opposite of what I say out of spite because of what I say. And then when it goes down the way that I told them it would, they'll get mad at me about it, like I caused it. Does anybody else go through that? Is that just a me thing? It cannot be a me thing. And that's a crazy hypothetical scenario, that I just made up. But just to prove a point, I'll give a more realistic one. A more realistic one will be like, let's say I have a friend who's trying to, they're buying something, and maybe they're working with a salesman or something like that, and the sales guy offers some product or service, a tack on that's not really, it doesn't really give you much, just is going to cost you money, That happens a lot when you're buying things like cars or houses and stuff like that. There are certain things that the salesperson is supposed to sell you, and they're not really that beneficial, or maybe they're beneficial for very specific cases, right? And somebody will ask my opinion, and I'll give them my best opinion based off of my experience and off of how, I'll know them, right? And I'll probably say, well, you shouldn't buy that. It'll probably just be a waste of money. And they'll do it anyway. And then they'll get mad at me because, because it went down the way I said. Hey, You want to say hi to people? Come on, buddy.
Hi, people.
Oh, yeah. There he is. There's the star. You want to wave?
Wave.
Wave at him?
Wave at him.
Yeah. Say, have a good day.
Have a good day.
And hit the button.